by the Northern Ireland Executive of further measures in an effort to contain the spread of coronavirus, and indeed the announcement by the Prime Minister in England in relation to restrictions being put in place there. The purpose of this video is to give employers something to think about in relation to what they should be doing with their staff at this uncertain time. So we'll have a look at the position this side of the end of October, and then move on to think about what employers should be considering from the 1st of November. So firstly, in relation to between now and the end of October, so the Executive in Northern Ireland have announced that schools are going to be closed from Monday. So even if a business isn't affected by a restriction or an instruction to close, it's likely that there may be some impact in relation to employees having difficulty with childcare. Now hopefully that won't be as bad as it was on the last occasion when the schools were closed, because on this occasion informal childcare arrangements with grandparents are acceptable, and indeed childcare facilities aren't closing. So hopefully the impact will not be particularly great, but there will still, I think, inevitably be some people who will struggle to go to work next week because schools are closed. And on that basis, then the options for those individuals and their employers would be take some annual leave, perhaps if they've been furloughed before, they can be put on flexible furlough, or a period of unpaid leave could be agreed to cover those childcare needs. So as with most things between employer and employee, early clear communication and trying to agree how that is going to work will be important. For those businesses then, hospitality, beauty salons, those sorts of businesses that have been told they need to close, other than in the case of hospitality for delivery or takeaways. If this side of October, this side of the end of October, that means that your business is going to have to close and won't have work for employees, then you can avail of the furlough scheme again. If you have the contractual right in your contracts to lay employees off without pay other than guarantee pay, it may be worth looking at that as an alternative to furlough, because on furlough you'll have to pay 20% of the wages plus the employer's national insurance and pension contributions. Then from the 1st of November we move out of the coronavirus job retention scheme into the job support scheme. So we've done a previous video in relation to the mechanics of the general job support scheme, so you can check that out for further information on that, with particular reference however to businesses that are told to close. And importantly for hospitality businesses, this includes businesses who are told to close but that can still do takeaway or delivery. So if you have a business and you're required to close your premises to customers, i.e. not let customers in through your door, and as a result of that there are all of your employees or some of your employees that you don't have work for, then you can avail of the job support scheme, or the extension to the job support scheme from the 1st of November. That will pay 2/3 of the wages of the employees for whom you've no work. The employer contribution on that is just the national insurance and pension. So that's a more attractive option to an employer whose business has to close than the job support scheme in its general form, because under that scheme the employer has to contribute 1/3 of the cost of the wages for the period that the employee isn't working. But again, like I said, in relation to furlough till the end of October, if you have the contractual right in your contracts to lay employees off rather than using the job support scheme, again, that might be preferable, because even under the job support scheme for closed businesses, you will have to pay the employer's national insurance and pension contribution. So it's worth just thinking through the various options. So as always, if anyone has any queries or wants to discuss their particular situation in any more detail, then please don't hesitate to get in touch. But I hope this video was helpful in setting out some of the things that you should be thinking about at this stage if you're affected by the newly announced restrictions.